When little Natalie grabbed the arm of a Hell's Angel at dawn, crying that her mother never came home, he thought maybe Mum went out partying. But when he walked her back to room 127, the door was wide open. Inside, he found something that made his blood run cold. The sun hadn't fully broken over the Nevada desert when Vince Holloway felt the weight of 52 years settle into his bones. He'd been a Hell's Angel for 23 of those years. Standing in the parking lot of the Sunset Rest Stop, strapping down gear onto his Harley, Highway 40 stretched out before him 300 miles to his brother's place in Carson City. Running footsteps, fast and urgent. A little girl ran toward him, no more than 7 years old, wrapped in thin pink pajamas. Her feet were bare and scraped. Her face was red and swollen from crying. She grabbed his leather jacket with trembling hands. Please, mister, please. Mummy didn't come home last night. Vince knelt down. What's your name, sweetheart? Natalie. They walked to room 127. The door was ajar. Inside, the place had been torn apart, shattered lamp, ripped sheets, a woman's purse dumped out. No phone, no keys, no woman. How long ago did your mummy leave? Last night after dinner. She made me macaroni and cheese. Then the man knocked on the door. Nearly 11 hours alone. Vince found the mother's cell phone in the bathroom. Screen shattered but functional. Text messages from Dee told the story. One more job, and you're clear. Don't make this difficult. Crystal, be ready at 8. Black Mercedes. Mummy said wait in the room. Natalie whispered. She went with the man. She said just one more time, and then we could leave. Vince called 911. 2 officers arrived 23 minutes later. When Vince explained everything, the older officer, Kowalski, glanced into the room without interest. Probably just a domestic situation. She'll turn up. It needs to be 24 hours before we can really do anything. That's department policy. What about the text messages? What about the man in the Mercedes? Hayes shrugged. You've got a name, a license plate. Without that, there's not much we can do. Within 15 minutes they were gone. Vince made a decision. He wasn't leaving this little girl until her mother was found. He called Bull McKenzie, his chapter president. We're coming. Nobody touches kids on our watch. Within minutes, Bull activated the phone tree. 17 men scattered across Nevada received the same message. A child needs us. We ride now. The sound came first. That deep rumble of 17 Harley-Davidson engines rolling into the parking lot like thunder. Bull dismounted first. A mountain of a man at 6'4" with a gray beard. He knelt beside Natalie in the diner, his demeanor shifting to something gentle. My name's Bull. Vince here is my brother, and that means your family now too. We're going to find your mama, I promise. The Brotherhood organized into 3 teams. Team 1 canvassed local businesses with Crystal's photo. At a truck stop, they found Eddie Vaughn, a long-haul driver. Yeah, I saw her last night. She was with a man in a fancy suit. He forced her into a black Mercedes SUV. That woman was scared. I got a partial plate starts with 7K. A Team 2 rode to Reno, to the massage parlor where Crystal had worked. The owner, Kenny, trembled when they asked about her. That's Dalton Reeves. He runs a trafficking operation. Several girls have gone to work for him. None came back. He has connections, police, judges. He's untouchable. Team 3 hunted digital breadcrumbs through security footage. At a truck stop, cameras caught the black Mercedes at 8:41 p.m. A bank's ATM camera showed it 9 minutes later. A fast food drive-thru gave them the full plate. Tujuh Empapul 28 the registration traced to a Shell corporation. Apex Logistics Solutions with an address in an industrial district. They found the warehouse. New locks, blacked-out windows, fresh tire tracks. Over 90 minutes, 3 vehicles arrived, including the black Mercedes. People entered. Nobody came out. When they traced the property records, the warehouse tied back to Detective Marcus Vaughn, the same cop who'd dismissed Crystal's disappearance that morning. The cops weren't just lazy. They were complicit. Bull called FBI agent Sandra Reyes. We've been watching Reeves for months, she said. Every time we get close, evidence disappears. If someone were to obtain visual confirmation and hold position until we arrived, that would give us probable cause. 45 minutes. Bull was coordinating when they heard shouting from inside. Crystal's voice, defiant despite fear. You can't keep me here. My daughter knows I'm missing. A sharp crack. Crystal cried out. Nobody's looking for you. And if you don't cooperate, you're going to find out what happens to girls who cause problems. Crystal didn't have 45 minutes. Bull signaled his brothers. They were going in. While Bull's team approached the front, Vince and Ghost circled to the back. A window high near the roofline was open. Ghost boosted Vince up. He peered through. Crystal was handcuffed to a chair, her face bruised. 3 other women sat restrained in an adjacent room. Then Dalton Reeves walked into view, phone pressed to his ear. Moving them tonight. New location. This one's burned. Vince dropped from the window. They're moving her now. We go. Razor cut through the chain on the front door. Bull kicked it, open metal slamming like thunder. The element of surprise was total. One of Dalton's men went for his gun. Truck was on him in 2 seconds. The weapon clattered to the floor. The other 2 tried to run. Dalton was trying to escape through a back exit when Bull blocked his path. The calm demeanor cracked. Dalton's face showed genuine fear. You're done, Reeves. I have connections. You'll regret this. Bull stepped forward. The only thing I regret is not finding you sooner. Vince moved to Crystal. Your daughter sent me. Natalie's safe. Crystal's face crumpled. Natalie, oh God, Natalie. Vince freed her from the handcuffs. The other brothers freed the 3 other women. The entire operation took less than 8 minutes. Sirens, FBI vehicles poured into the district. Agent Reyes stepped out, surveying the scene. This never happened the way you're going to tell it. Bull remained neutral. We just happened to be passing by when we heard screaming. Lucky timing. Vince drove Crystal back to the Sunset rest stop. The sun was setting, painting the desert sky orange and purple. When his truck pulled into the parking lot, Jennifer Torres, the CPS worker, knelt beside Natalie. Sweetheart, look who's here. Natalie looked up, saw her mother. For a moment, neither moved. Then Crystal opened her arms and Natalie ran. She ran with everything, with complete abandon. She hit Crystal with enough force that they both stumbled. But Crystal caught her and held on like she'd never let go. The embrace lasted minutes. Neither spoke. Crystal buried her face in Natalie's hair. Natalie clung to her mother with a grip that spoke of hours of terror and overwhelming relief. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry I left you. You came back, Natalie whispered. You came back. Crystal looked at Vince, tears streaming. You saved our lives. Vince shook his head. Your daughter saved you. She was brave enough to ask for help. The news broke 48 hours later. Dalton Reeves arrested on federal charges. Detective Vaughn arrested as an accomplice. The evidence was overwhelming: property records, financial transfers, text messages. The raid opened doors to 7 other locations. 7 additional victims rescued. Crystal's testimony became the keystone of the prosecution. Federal charges: human trafficking, kidnapping, conspiracy, racketeering. Both Reeves and Vaughn faced life sentences. Crystal and Natalie were placed in witness protection. New names, new location, a chance to start over. Before they left, Crystal handed Vince an envelope. I don't have words for what you did, but Natalie wanted you to have this. Inside was a drawing done in crayon, a little girl holding hands with a figure wearing a leather jacket. Above the figure, Natalie had drawn wings, an angel in leather. Crystal and Natalie left that afternoon, escorted by federal agents. Sometimes the best outcome is becoming a memory. A good memory for someone who deserves to forget the nightmare. 3 months later, Bull received a letter from 6 women they'd never met. Each had been in Dalton's pipeline, scheduled to arrive at that warehouse the week after the rescue. When the network collapsed, they'd been freed before they ever reached the nightmare. The letter ended with 8 words Bull would carry for the rest of his life. You saved us without even knowing we existed.